Hi, my name is Eva, and I used to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Here's a question I've been asked a few times. Why do I refer to Jehovah's Witness organisation as a cult? Disclaimer, this is for educational purposes only, and I'm speaking from my own personal experience and from my own conclusions. You are free to disagree and scroll. So, number one, I'm going to start with what I've researched for myself that made me come to the conclusion that Jehovah's Witness organisation is actually a doomsday cult. May I add, a religious doomsday cult. So number one, what does the word cult mean? So the word cult actually comes from the Latin word cultus, which encompasses concepts of adoration, education, and cultivation. Now we know the catchphrase, the term is very much applied to one-man band, so usually one charismatic leader. And this is where I feel Jehovah's Witnesses get baited on, because we know the governing body consists between 8 to 10 men, depending who's in, who's out. But we also know that Jehovah's Witnesses started as a one-man band with Charles Taze Russell and then Judge Rutherford and so on and so on. So how is governing body viewed in Jehovah's Witness organisation? Well, are they adored? Yes. Are they becoming an object of reverence? Is their word taken as the law? Can anybody speak against it without consequences or punishment? Is there free discussion on what the governing body says and puts out, or is it actively discouraged and punished? So yes, Jehovah's Witnesses may not have just one leader, as they say they follow Jesus. But what I noticed whilst being a Jehovah's Witness, that Jesus is actually mentioned very rarely. It's always about Jehovah, Jehovah this, Jehovah that. And Jesus is kind of just brushed to the sidelines. Yes, they believe him. Yes, they have the memorial. But is he revered as to the supposed Son of God or the Redeemer? Honestly, all they talk about is what Jehovah wants and never what about Jesus wants, because it's kind of become like, well, he's not really that important. We just listen to Jehovah. Point number two. And remember, these are all points that I took on as an evidence that Jehovah's Witnesses is a religious doomsday cult. You don't have to agree, and I'm not going to change my mind about it. Number two, characteristics of a cult. Authoritarian control. I think it goes without saying that everything that the governing body says, you have to follow if you want a Jehovah's Witnesses, or you're out. Extremist beliefs. I know they will disagree, but not allowing blood transfusion on babies, children, somebody's been in an accident, is that not extremist? Stopping people from having friends and family who are not witnesses, or stopping somebody from being in a relationship or marry somebody who is not a witness, is that not extremist? Is that not controlling? Can they question their beliefs openly? I know they can't. I was one 22 years. Isolation from society. Let me think. Yeah, absolutely. Because once you're a Jehovah's Witness, you're only allowed to have friends and have a relationship with somebody who's also baptized Jehovah's Witness. Now, they may argue, well, it's for your protection. But is it though? If you're so afraid of any criticism or somebody disagreeing with you, what does that say? Is that not controlling? I felt very isolated from the world around me, which stopped me from leaving when I wanted to leave. And this is one of the biggest reasons why many people are PMOs, physically and mentally out. Because they know that if they leave, first of all, they'll probably lose all their family and friends. And second of all, they've got no support network or anything outside their religion, and they are trapped. It is all about the hive mind. Let me think. Who else was a hive mind? The Borg on Star Trek. Not surprisingly, a lot of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses refer to Jehovah's Witness organisation as the Borg. Here's another one. A belief that former followers are always wrong for leaving, and there is never a legitimate reason for anyone else to leave. And one that I experienced a lot, followers feeling they are never able to be good enough. Well, how can you feel that you're good enough when you're constantly being told that you are sinful, that you don't know anything, and that you are no good? It's just one way of control, isn't it? If you make the person believe that they cannot make their own decisions, or that their opinion isn't valid, or that they know nothing about the subject, hence the experts in the governing body, because obviously it's a cult.